I stood there in the doorway of my own house, my childhood home, watching my younger sister, Clara, laughing loudly with her friends as they carried out the last boxes. They didn't even notice I was standing there. Or maybe they did and they simply didn't care. "This will be much easier than I thought," Clara said, tossing her hair back. "She won't fight. She never does." They all laughed. They didn't know I heard every word. They didn't know I knew exactly what they were planning. And they certainly didn't know what I was about to do. But to tell you how I reached this moment, how my own sister tried to sell the house I grew up in without my permission, I need to take you back 4 weeks earlier to a quiet Thursday morning when I was making tea in my kitchen. I had just sat down with my cup when my phone rang. It was Clara. "Hey, big sis," she said in that sugary voice she used only when she wanted something. "Guess what? I found the perfect solution for our family problems." Family problems? We didn't have any that I knew of. Clara continued before I could ask, "You know how you always talk about downsizing, and how the house feels too big since Mom passed? I found a lovely little cottage near the lake. You'd love it. Peaceful, cute, affordable." A strange heaviness filled my chest. Mom had passed only 7 months ago. Her absence still lived inside every corner of this house. "Clara, I never said I wanted to move," I said softly. "Oh, come on," she insisted. "It's for the best. You can't keep maintaining this place alone, and I already talked to a real estate agent. They said we could get a great price, over $400,000. My heart skipped. "You talked to an agent without me?" "It's just information," she said quickly. "Anyway, I'll visit tomorrow so we can plan the sale together." Sale? Plan? Together? The conversation ended with her blowing kisses into the phone while I sat there staring at the tea I had forgotten to drink. The next day, Clara arrived with a man I had never seen before. A real estate agent named Mark. They walked through my house like it was a museum they were planning to demolish. "Remove that wall, open the layout. The floors need updating. Backyard will sell the house alone. House. Sell, sell, sell." I felt myself shrinking. At one point, I gently said, "I'm not selling this house." "Clara, stop." She sighed dramatically. "You always cling to things. You're sentimental. This is why you never move forward." But the worst came at the end of the visit. Mark handed Clara a folder, not me. "We'll finalize paperwork once she signs," he said. Clara smiled. "She will, don't worry." They both looked at me like I was a stubborn child. I felt something break inside me that day. A crack, small but sharp. Days passed and Clara kept pushing. She visited more, always unannounced, always with new updates. Every time I said no, she acted like she didn't hear me. One evening, I overheard her talking on the phone in my living room while she thought I was asleep. "Of course she'll sign," she whispered. "She trusts me too much. She always has." A pause. "Yes, we'll split the money 60-40. She won't know the real sale price. The woman still thinks the house is worth $300K. Stupid." Stupid. The word hit me harder than anything she had ever said to my face. Clara, my baby sister. The one I raised like a daughter after our father left. The one I fed, clothed, protected, defended. The one I gave the bigger half of every meal. The one I gave my Christmas gifts to even when I had none. Stupid. That night I cried quietly in my room, stroking the wooden frame of Mom's photo. The house suddenly felt colder, emptier, dangerous. But crying wasn't the end. It was the beginning. 2 days later, Clara announced she had scheduled a final meeting with the agent. "Just sign the pre-approval, sis. It's not binding," she lied. "Just a formality." I said nothing. She thought silence meant surrender. What she didn't know was that I had already contacted a lawyer, a very good lawyer, and I learned a few important things. One, the house was legally mine, fully. Mom had left it to me alone in her will, not to both of us. Clara didn't know. Two, any attempt to sell it without my consent was fraud. 3 recording conversations inside my home was legal. 3 days later came the moment that brought us here, today, when Clara arrived with her friends and the first movers. They thought they were going to start shifting furniture to stage the house for photos. They didn't know the truth. As I stood in the doorway, watching them touch my mother's things, laughing like vipers, something inside me hardened into steel. One of Clara's friends whispered loudly, "Are you sure she won't fight this?" Clara smirked. "She never fights me. She's too soft, always has been." My blood boiled, but my face remained calm. Then I stepped forward. "Actually," I said, voice steady, "I do fight, I just choose the right moment." Everyone turned to look at me. Clara's face went pale. I continued, "And the right moment is now." "I don't understand," she began, but then the doorbell rang, exactly on time. The lawyer stepped in. Behind him, a uniformed officer. Clara's jaw dropped open. Why is he here?" she stuttered. The officer lifted a folder. A report was filed of attempted real estate fraud involving this property. Clara froze. Her friends stepped back. My lawyer handed me a set of documents, and I read aloud. "Full ownership belongs to Irene Bennett. Any unauthorized attempt to sell will result in prosecution." My voice was calm, steady, cold. Clara shook her head. "You wouldn't. You can't." "Oh, but I can," I said softly. "And I will." Her eyes filled with tears, but not the kind that come from guilt. The kind that come from getting caught. "I'm your sister," she whispered angrily. "You're supposed to help me." "I did," I replied, "for 32 years, but helping you doesn't mean letting you destroy me." The officer stepped forward. Clara panicked. No, please," I looked at her one last time. "You thought I would stay silent, but you forgot I raised you, and I know every trick you think you invented." Clara was escorted outside while her friends rushed after her. The house fell silent. For the first time in months, it felt like mine again. Safe, warm, alive, I walked to the living room, touched the wall Mom had painted herself, and whispered, "It's okay, Mom, I took care of it." Because this time I chose me, and I finally understood, being silent doesn't make a woman weak, but choosing when to speak, that makes her unstoppable.